What's up, guys? We are back. UFC 320, Sandhagen versus Merab D. I'm your host, Picks by Pegasus, here with Dravhy, Key 3 Picks, and John Stargaryen, first-time guest. Thanks for joining us, brother.
Yeah, thanks, man. Really appreciate it. I mean, I wish it was a better pay-per-view card. I kind of feel like Juice is going to roll, but I'm excited to break it down. A couple spots, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. It seems it's another one of those pay-per-views that has a ton of heavy favorites. Before we get started here, like we talked about in the Discord, we got our first sponsor. It's overtime.xyz. It's a crypto sports book, no KYC or limits for players. It's bettable anywhere in the world, every sport, thousands of lines, no getting banned, blacklisted, no refusal of payouts because it's all on crypto. You can use ETH, Bitcoin, stablecoin, whatever you like. Signing up is so easy. I did it myself last night. You could use Apple ID, Discord, Twitter, or any of your crypto wallets if you have them. Link is in the comments below. Bet $10, get $20 back. It's a pretty smooth system. I bet on the Dodgers last night. That was free. Dodgers -1.5 is probably free again tonight. But yeah, so that's our thing there. So take a look at the link below. Other than that, we'll get right into it. First fight of the night is I'm going to call it a low-level girls fight. Key's going to disagree because this is girl Hardy. Veronica Hardy versus Brogdon Walker. Brogan Walker, 7-4. Veronica Hardy, 9-5-1. Odds in these two ladies, I think last I checked, Hardy was -800. That's where all that, she's -825. That's where all that table money went. So, Key, tell me why Veronica Hardy doesn't deserve -825.
Yeah, because it's low-level women's MMA. Brogan Walker is garbage and is coming off of knee surgery, I believe, and been off for close to 2 years. I think that Hardy's the speed advantage will look crazy on the feet. Brogan just simply isn't fast enough. She wasn't fast enough before knee surgery. Damn sure isn't going to be fast enough after. So she's not. This layoff hasn't done her any favors. I think that this is kind of like I'm not sure why they gave Hardy this fight because it's not like they're trying to like really push her. But I mean, I guess it's fine to make sure she gets a win after an L. But this should be an easy Hardy spot. But Brogan could end up on top or some dumb shit from a clinch trip takedown or something stupid like that. But Hardy's the 10 times the better athlete. It's going to be the faster girl, going to be able to dance around on the outside. Kick should be money at all levels. So I think that Hardy looks fine. I personally just can't get down on -600 parlay and Veronica Hardy. Like, that's just not happening.
All right, John, what do you think here? Any angles you like?
I mean, I don't have many. I more or less agree with everything Key said. I just think the gap in skill prior to Brogan Walker's layoff would have been gigantic. I think it's even bigger now. Plus, she's older, completely harmless. Didn't look particularly physical in any of her UFC fights or fights in general. You know, she got physically bullied by Juliana Miller, by Yasmin Lucindo. Hardy's pretty physical for a woman herself, so. And I just don't really see a lot of scope for Brogan having much grappling success in this fight. So, I mean, I actually think the line's kind of justified. I think if I was going to play anything, like Hardy ITD plus 290, I mean, Brogan's a pretty old lady taking on, a much more physical fighter with a lot more ferocity. I kind of think fight to end inside the distance plus 275, Hardy ITD plus 290 are both kind of interesting. Probably just take inside the distance in case some kind of banana peel stuff happens here. But yeah, I mean, I'm not going to give an impassioned breakdown here. Hardy's better everywhere. This should be pretty easy work for her.
All right, and then Drav, I'm going to ask you, whose feet do you like better? Brogdon, she's from Guam, or Miss Hardy?
We're going to let you answer this question since you're the feet expert over here.
I think you got to go with, I mean, these are disgusting. I mean, you got to go with Walker here, even though she's old. This is just disgusting legs and feet. Those are hot. Those look like my fucking legs and feet. But what do you think of the fight?
Yeah, not a fight I'm passionate about. I think Hardy justify being a big favorite here. She's faster, cleaner, some BJJ upside. I think if anything, you take a poke on his submission props, like 7-1 or something like that. So I think that's the way to go if you think that something can happen. Walker's just never been really good, and now she's on a big layoff, so Probably not gonna go great, but yeah, I can never put Hardy at minus. I can never play money on Hardy at like -7, -800, but I think she should be at least 80% here. So yeah, the line makes sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, Hardy or pass. I would have no part of betting this at all. So yeah, it's just going to be a pass fight for me. Just, I guess, this is where you get all your stuff set up for the fight card to actually start. You don't even have to pay attention to this fight. That's how I'll treat this one. Next fight, Ramiz Brahimaj versus Austin Vanderford. Austin Vanderford 13-2. Ramiz Brahimaj 12-5. Odds on these two gentlemen, you can get Brahimaj plus 250, Vanderford minus 300. So, John, we're going to go with you first here. I mean, we've seen Brahimaj is, a round one guy. Everyone's talking about it. Some people are talking about KO came out as plus 2,500. Do you think there's any value on that Brahimaj by KO plus 2,500?
Yeah. I mean, maybe if you're so inclined to lean to that side, I feel like, I mean, he doesn't have that much power, but he's got enough pop to sting Vanderford. Obviously, Vanderford had a couple ugly KOs in Bellator with the Musasi fight and the my God, what's the mullet guy's name? I can't believe Aaron Jeffrey. But so yeah, I mean, sure, he can. I actually think him knocking out Austin in round one is much more plausible than him submitting him. He could submit him. Obviously, that's his game, and I know he got a guillotine in his last fight, but he's not really a guard player. That was pretty fortunate that Billy Goff just like completely lost his mind trying to wrestle a double against him. I think if Vanderford gets on top of him, he's going to maul him, to be honest. In terms of the fight in general, I actually think there's probably some value on Vanderford here. It's really, really hard for me to put Brahimaj finishing a grappler like Vanderford in the first 7 minutes or so past like 15%. I just think Vanderford kind of knows the drill. He does it every fight. He's going to push him to the fence. He's going to try to grapple him from there. I don't think sub is likely. And I think once the first 6 or 7 minutes are passed, you're just going to see Brahimaj kind of wear down. Like Vanderford's a much, much better grappler than Themba Gorimbo. He's got better cardio than Themba Gorimbo. And Themba looked like he was about -800 in that spot. I think Brahimaj KO is probably if he gets it done, the most likely way, maybe submission. But I just can't see him getting top time on Vanderford at all. So, yeah, I think there's some value on Vanderford. I'm actually pondering parlaying him up with someone later on the slate.
I don't blame you. I tend to agree. I think Vanderford kind of rolls here. I mean, Brahimaj is heavily dependent on his, BJJ accolade, and Vanderford is well aware of that. I think he can wrestle and top time him. Should be pretty straightforward. Dravhy, what do you think?
Yeah, it's always hard to, bet Ramiz in general just because he's so like round one or bust type shit. But I'll say he looked better in his last 2 fights. But again, like John said, Billy Goff showed like terrible fight IQ in that fight. That was kind of crazy. And Vanderford, I think his wrestling is pretty good. His top control is good, but also he has good ground and pound. So Ramiz is probably going to pull guillotine and trying to go for front choke and, accept the takedown. So that's probably going to be easy for Vanderford to get on top. I do have some concerns about his striking in general and his chin, but again, Ramiz is not really the type of guy to test that too much. But yeah, I mean, Ramiz round one, never a bad bet, right? That's mostly how you win. But it's just hard to bet someone that is so run one or bust type of fighter. But yeah, I mean, if you like him, I think you can take a shot on a run one prop. I think it's 700 or something like that. It's not too bad. And yeah, Vanderford, I think that as the fight goes on, you might just maul him on top and win a lot of minutes. So unless you get caught into something, you should win pretty easily. What's the price now? I think he's like -3 something, right? He's I have it right there. So
290 on Pinnacle. You can get.
Oh yeah, that's not too bad. Like, I mean,
yeah.
I'm not gonna act like Ramiz round one is like 20+%. I don't really think so. So yeah, I mean, I guess there's probably value here. It's just I have a weird feeling about this guy's chin, but I don't think Ramiz is the guy that does that either. So yeah, it's kind of a weird fight for me, but I think Vanderford should handle business.
Key, what are you thinking, man?
Yeah, I agree with the rest of the panel. I think Vanderford gets it done. Ramiz is, in my opinion, garbage. But I think Vanderford should be able to get on top and have success.
All right. So let's just go back real quick. I'll take a look at some of these comments. Disagree. Hardy is low level. She's middle, upper tier. Meh.
Mid.
Cody, what's happening for joining us, bro? Juan, thanks for joining us as always. Tristan, what's happening, bro? Dixon, Cole, Joe, Piezo, what's happening, man? Justin. When it comes to this fight, this guy didn't want to see the feet talk, but we were due for it. We honestly skipped it all last week. Ramiz round 1. Ramiz ITD no action plus 100.
It's not too bad. Like
No.
I mean, he's tough to finish, honestly, but you could get finished as the fight goes on, I think.
The issue is Demba doesn't really throw effective ground and pound or really effectively solidify control, and Vanderford does, so that would be concerning to me.
He doesn't know. Always way to cover both sides.
Yeah, it's not a bad bet. What's the price on that?
Vanderford 2-3.
Yeah, it's plus 100 on don't go the distance. Not like you cover Rami's win condition, but also Vanderford, like we said, you could ground and pound him for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't mind if fight doesn't go, honestly. That's not a bad look. All right, next fight. We're cruising right now. Next fight. This one's going to be actually pretty interesting. This one was fun to tape. We got Punahele Soriano versus Nikolay Veretennikov. I struggle with names. But all right, Dravhy, you're going first here. I mean, Punahele Soriano wrestles is probably the best way to beat Nikolay. Everyone knows that at this rate you got to wrestle him to beat him. What do you think he gets his grappling game going?
Yeah, I mean it's probably a close fight on the feet, honestly. Soriano is always like to bung people in round 1. That's kind of his style. He has power, but I'm a bit worried for Puna on the feet for like the knees and the clinch and the body work of Nikolay. That's something that has shown issues to Soriano in the past. But I'll say like at welterweight, he looked good. Like his cardio looked great, but also shape wise, if you just go on his Instagram and watch his shape now, like he has abs and everything, and he had a bit of fat at 185. So probably better for him to be in this weight class for sure. And it seems like he's fighting smarter as well. Like he's using his grappling. And again, against Medish, I'll say Medish is a bit chinny. Like he get hurt a lot in his fight, so him knocking him out is impressive. But again, it's not like I'm not gonna put too much stock into that fight ending early. I think that here he should wrestle because Nikolay takedown defense is not really good. But also the worst thing about his game is his get up game is really bad. Like he can accept bottom position way too much. He doesn't get up. And his cardio when he has to grapple seems to be worse than when he strike. And then in the striking, he's low volume. So yeah, he's kind of, I don't know, he's old as well. Like he's 35. The fight against Prado was really close, and we know Prado should be fighting at 155. He was able to take him down. So not a good look on that end. Watching back the Morales fight, he was able to get up like 2 times in that fight, and he's shown some good things on the feet. And then I watched other fights of his, and he looked worse. So I kind of think he could win this fight, obviously. But Soriano has big favorite upside with the grappling, and Soriano ground and pound is decent, but I don't think it's as good as like Vanderford. And same for his top control. I don't think it's as good as Vanderford. So I do think he can get takedown in some top time, and they're probably going to strike for a bit where I think it's going to be competitive. But at the end of the day, I think Soriano is going to get it done. I think the fight is going to probably go longer, and maybe he wins a decision with the wrestling, making it close on the feet. I think they're both pretty tough, honestly. So I don't really see a finish in this one. So yeah, I mean, you can play maybe with the totals or the GTD or something like that, but I think Soriano is going to get it done. Yeah, probably by decision, honestly.
Key, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I hate both of these guys. Shit fight. Outside of like Puna bonking him in round 1, I think that this ends up being like a super boring fight. Veretennikov is kind of allergic to a fun fight, in my opinion. And I think that Puna can wrestle a little bit here, but I don't assume that he's going to like just maul him for 15. And on the feet, Puna's kind of not very functional outside of like big overhands and big straight shots. So for me, I think that we kind of see some of a little bit of a staring match. I think overs could be decent looks here. But for me, money line wise, pass.
Yeah, Soriano just got nuked. He's minus 330 on Bet Online now. Where Technikov's plus 272.
That's kind of lame because like we got Baeza was like being like he pulled a Ryan Hall performance.
Yeah, he was playing BJJ off his back.
Yeah, so he turned into Ryan Hall, and then we see 30 seconds and he knocks out the doctor. Yeah, good shit, but like Medic has been proven to be pretty chinny. That's my boy, but he died. So I don't. It's not like we know a shit ton at 170 right now.
Yeah, John, what are you thinking here?
Yeah, so I mean, it's pretty interesting that you just said it got nuked. I bet Soriano earlier in the week at like minus 221. Obviously, it's a very, very different line now, to the point that I'm like kind of tempted to take half of that position off just because I can basically, and because like I don't want to have huge risk on Soriano for all the things you guys touched on. He's not the most intelligent fighter ever, and when he wrestles, it does worry me sometimes that if his initial shot gets defended, he won't kind of chain his takedowns or continue on a double. He'll just kind of let go and go back to striking range. So I do have some concerns for him. Having said that, Dravhy mentioned the clinch that Nikolay brings, and obviously his clinch knees look sick last fight against Prado. Would you guys believe it if I told you in 3 recorded fights in the UFC, including Contender Series, that outside of the Prado fight, he's only landed 6 significant clinch strikes in his career in the UFC thus far? Like, that's the dude, yeah, he doesn't get to the clinch that easily. And the problem is, it's not easy to plumb clinch someone who's like a really good athlete. Like Prado is just a fat lightweight. And so like clinching him up and landing knees is pretty easy. I kind of think if he goes to clinch Puna up, it's going to probably end up with him being pushed to the fence. Kind of what happened to Baeza in that fight. I do think the stand-up's pretty close. I trust Puna's power a bit more, but like I still don't really want to see Puna dealing with kicks to the body. At the end of the day, I mean, it's not too nuanced of a take. I just feel like Puna's going to probably attempt 5 to 7 takedowns in this fight. And if he does that, he's probably going to get somewhere between 2 and 4. And that's probably going to be enough for a lot of control and more than enough to win the fight. I think he's a bit more likely to win by KO than Baratenikov is. And I think he's got better cardio. To Dravy's point, I've seen people talk about how he's made this he's a better fighter at 170. And like, I don't know if he's better technically or not. I haven't seen enough to tell me that. But to Dravy's point, it's very obvious his body is very different and that he's in much better shape than he was in. Like he was really, really soft up at 185 and way outsized. He's in much better shape now. So I do think his cardio is going to be, I don't want to like say, oh, it's going to be like Merab. It's going to be great, but I'd expect it to be considerably better than it was at 185. So with that dynamic, it's like, I think he wins round 3 at a large clip. I think he's got giant favorite upside. I think he's got more KO upside. I think Puna being a decent sized favorite is fine, but I do agree with Key. I think more often than not, this is going to be a pretty ugly fight.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Me personally, I played overs. I played the over 1.5 at minus 160. Like these guys have said, if Punahele decides to grapple, it's definitely going over at that rate. More tired he gets, less likely is to knock him out. So I don't know. Overs seem fine to me. It was always overs at Punahele from when the lines even dropped, and overs was minus 160. And
there was one interesting thing I wanted to note that like after he knocked out Medic, because like there was a lot of questions like will he wrestle or not. He did say immediately after in his post-fight interview, my plan was to wrestle him. I just happened to knock him out. So I do think it's pretty likely he's going to come out shooting here.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's especially if you watch any tape on Nikolay, that's how you're going to beat him. It's minus 320 now. Austin by decision seems all right. So he's got guys behind. Soriano line blown out over 1.5. No money on the fight, but pissed at the people making shitty bets out of principle. That my goat right there.
Who's your goat?
Yeah, who's your goat? I'm confused. I like the fact that Puna stuck to a game plan though, grappled all 3 rounds. I just finished watching Corey Zalal video of him doing acid. It's hilarious. Yeah, he's going to be an interesting champion to have. It'll be fun. Over under on spinning back kicks thrown by Nikolay, 2.5. That's what I set the line at. Let's see. Did you say who it is? Key. Mad that people just blowing out a terrible line. That's funny. All right, next fight. Borderline disrespectful. Patchy Mix on the prelims against Jacob Wiklacz. I mean, Patchy Mix was just on a pay-per-view main event, or not a pay-per-view main card. Now he is on a prelim card fighting a debutante. It's kind of crazy how fast life can come at you. Patchy Mix, 20-2. Jacob Wiklacz 16-3. Odds of these two gentlemen, you can get Patchy Mix minus 300. You can get Jacob Wiklacz plus 250. John, we're gonna have you go first, man. I mean,
it's like I wish I'd bet it earlier in the week, but it's also one of these things where I've been trying, and until his last fight, unsuccessfully trying to fade Patchy Mix for a long, long time. And so I hate betting on the guy. So I kind of went into tape wanting to bet Wiklacz, but I just don't like Mix's weaknesses. His wrestling is pretty poor and he's a pretty wooden striker. I don't really see any way Wiklacz can really expose that. You know, he's a worse striker. He's way less durable. He has way less power. If Wiklacz does decide to grapple him, I cannot really picture Wiklacz out grappling him. So it's kind of like I feel for Wiklacz to win. He needs either Mix to show up in like horrible shape and just accept like full guard or something like that, or to just land something really, really meme. But Mix has this covered, honestly. I don't really see a lot of scope for Wiklacz winning this fight. Mix is the better submission grappler. He's a better grappler in general. He's a better striker, more power, more durability, higher level of competition. I think minus 400 range for Mix here is probably fine.
Yeah, I'm on Patchy Mix as well. I think I played him minus 250 in a parlay with a Tiba under 1.5 rounds. Obviously, that's canceled, so now I'm just sitting with a Patchy Mix minus 250 ticket. So that's great. I'm okay with it. I was on Patchy Mix against Mario Bautista just because I mostly want to see Mario Bautista die. But
let's talk about this. It's crazy. You're saying like, oh, he was on the main card, now he's on the prelim. It's funny what Mario Bautista can do to you, Peg, right? Huh?
Yeah, it's amazing what Mario Bautista can do. His day will come.
It was a bad matchup for him. I played Bautista in that fight. He was a decent underdog, and I mean, Bautista has good wrestling, good pace, and he fought a really good fight. Like he put it on him right away, a lot of pressure, a lot of volume, and he's the better striker. And, you know, I think Mix had also like a bad performance. Not to say like Bautista should not, you know, he would have beat him anyway, I think, because he was a bad matchup. But Mix not shooting takedowns in his UFC debut until round 3 was kind of, you know, alarming. I think he's going to look better here. We see a lot of time people making their debut, especially when there's a lot of hype on them, shit in the, you know, looking bad, not fighting a great game plan. And he had success in round 3 to his credit in the striking. It looked like he was coming back into the fight, and he clipped Bautista a couple times. Round 3 was competitive, and he threw a lot of volume. So here in this fight, it's like Wiklacz, he's not like, he's a grappler, this dude. Like, he loves to grapple. He loves the front choke as well. That's kind of his game. And, you know, if you try to grapple with Patchy Mix, I mean, I think he's going to get reversed. I think he's going to get potentially submitted. When he shoot, he put his head in bad position. I think that Patchy obviously is known for his guillotine. That could be something that, you know, you get here. But also, he's really good in the back take. He's good in the wrestling. I think he's a better wrestler. And I just think Wiklacz makes too many mistakes in the grappling that for a guy like Patchy Mix, he's just a better grappler than him. And funny enough, I think Patchy Mix is probably a slightly better striker than Wiklacz. And he's also more durable, because I've seen Wiklacz knocked out before. I've seen him hurt. He's tough, but like, he can be hurt and he can be finished on the ground and on the feet. So we've never seen Patchy getting finished. Patchy has better competition, like John mentioned, and I just think here he's kind of better everywhere, and he has more finishing upside. So yeah, I think Patchy should be a bigger favorite here. Personally, I think that he's live to finish him, and if he doesn't finish him, I trust him to land more on the feet, to win the minute on top. And I think he's gonna catch him with a submission at some point, personally. But I wouldn't be surprised if he hurt him with a knee or something, because like, he's kind of sneaky with those. So yeah, good fight for Patchy Mix to, you know, come back, get a win, and get maybe a top 15 guy after. Because I don't think like people are low on him now. I still think he was good when I played Bautista. I just think Bautista is a top 5 fighter in the division. Patchy's probably top 10, top 15, but we'll see. He should get this guy pretty easily. I know he's like one of the same guy that, you know, Joanna signed with is it Rachola, the guy that fought Gomez. So
Yeah.
they're going with Gamera. Like, they're not bad fighter. They're decent. I think he's probably gonna win fight in the UFC, but I don't think this fight is a good matchup for him. And he's now the guy making his UFC debut. So, and he's also taking a step up in competition. And if you look into his resume, he fought the same dude 5 times. Kind of crazy, right? Like, 5 times he fought the same guy over the last couple of years. So yeah, I don't like to see that personally. So, and he lost some of those fights. The guy is not bad that he fought, but not great if I want to
Yeah.
see a move against better guys.
Yeah, I feel Patchy Mix sub Patchy Mix money line's fine. As a parlay piece, it'll be fine as well. I don't know. That's the way you got to play it. Key, anything different from you here?
Yeah, no. I think Patchy should get it done. Interested to see who he gets next after this. I mean, it's not like he has all the time in the world. He has to make a splash kind of within these next 24 months. So I'm interested to see who they give him next.
I think they're gonna give him Rob Fun after that.
Maybe. All
I
right.
like that.
Next fight. We'll just move right along here. Next fight, Macy Chaisson versus Yana Santos. Santos 16-8. Macy Chaisson 10-4. Odds on these two ladies, you can get Santos plus 170, Macy minus 200. I mean, I guess this is considered a mid-level girl fight. Key. I mean, Macy, she's kind of dumb, but she knows if she wrestles, she could probably get Santos down, and that's her path to victory. Do you think this?
Hey, you should tell the chat that you told us this week that Macy Chaisson was hot and was your type. So explain it.
Yeah, right.
We want to hear about it.
That right there. Or should I do? Actually, I know what I'll do. Here, Key, you give your breakdown. I got something. I got something in mind.
I think that Macy should get it done here. She's dumb. She gets memed. She makes bad decisions. Like she kind of has like a stupid ass career. But she's solid. Like she can grapple. She's physical. And in this matchup, the issue with the Ketlin matchup was just she was out physical completely and then was not the better grappler positionally. And that's not the case here. Santos, beat washed up Miesha Tate. Chelsea Chandler means nothing to me. But we saw you get wet blanketed by Holly Holm. And I think that Chaisson will be able to have similar type of success if she chooses. So hopefully she's not out there switching stances trying to be fucking Corey Sandhagen and actually just decides to wrestle and get on with her life. But I think that she can get it done here. Minus 200 never feels good on a girl like her that it seems like always makes bad decisions. There's stupid outcomes. So I'm not looking to chase that number. I'm not sure exactly what sub numbers are currently, but I don't believe they came out too wide. So I think that she justifies price tag through sub, but I think that she just has to wrestle for 15 minutes and she'll justify that money line. But I don't know.
It's plus 425 on Bet Online.
That's not too bad, but I'm not taking that personally. But that's not awful.
Okay, 3.3 out of 5 on WikiFeet is hysterical. All right, Dravhy, what do you think for this one? We'll move this to your choice. Which one do you like more, Dravhy? These look like I don't even know. Kind of. This is a low level foot fight, if you ask me. But
yeah, I mean, I don't have a good read on this. I don't have a good read on this fight, honestly. Like I know people love the dog here. I kind of get it. Like I could see this being a close fight, and Macy's the type of girl that's gonna, fuck shit up a lot of times when she's a favorite. But yeah, she's much bigger. She has a grappling pad. I don't think Yana is like easy to take down, but when she's on the ground, she's not great. We've seen that multiple times in her career. On the feet, she's pretty decent. It's going to be close, but yeah, Macy is good in the clinch. Yana is also not bad there. I just think it's going to be like a close fight that Macy end up winning, but I think there's probably value on Yana Santos here. That's kind of the way I see it. I think Macy should be a favorite, but like not too big of a favorite. She's like minus 200 now. I think around 60 to 65% makes sense, but Yana line is like plus 170 right now. Yeah, I mean, not too much value. I think I'm not sure about 60 to 65 for Chaisson. She's about 65 now. Kind of makes sense to me right now, but again, I could see this being a close fight, and Yana could outstrike her. That's for sure. She could dance on the outside, and she looked better in her last fight. But in round 3, a lot of shit. She almost get finished, but she looked good in round 1 and 2. So maybe she can do that. Maybe she can do something similar here. And Chaisson is a good finisher for the weight class, but she's not a girl that I want to pay minus 2xx to
I don't
back.
know. I feel like on the feet, Macy's Muay Thai makes her like the moment winner, but out of volume, Santos's volume is probably. Like
I mean, it's gonna be close on the feet, like, but I think Kiana is slightly better. But yeah, I'm not too confident in that either. It's kind of a weird fight to me, but Macy's much bigger though, that's for sure. And I think she's with Steph as well.
Like 5'7" versus 5'11". It's going to be a big difference. I don't know. I feel like this is a good Macy spot here. John, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, the issue for me, I actually think early on, Yana could potentially compete. She's pretty strong in the first round of most fights, very, very good in the clinch. So I don't think takedowns for Macy will be too easy early. I feel like they'll fight in the clinch a lot, so I could see Yana winning the first round. The problem for me is a couple things. One, Yana's harmless. Like, she just really is. She doesn't hurt anybody. Two, every time she's in a heavy clinch fight, she slows down pretty dramatically as the fight goes on here. And I just feel as she slows down, takedowns are going to get pretty easy for Macy. And honestly, a takedown's probably around. So it's like, I think Yana could do well in the first round, but if she gets taken down by Macy in the first, she's probably not getting up. And anytime she's on the ground, she's probably a threat to be subbed. I actually think that plus 425 is pretty good, in my opinion. Like, yeah, Macy, if this fight goes 15, is going to have numerous opportunities to sub her here. So that kind of interests me. But yeah, I mean, I don't really want to, I'm with you guys. I don't really want to do business with minus 2xx on Macy either here. I do think she has, of the two, she's the only one in this fight who could look minus 400, minus 500. You know what I mean? Whereas I think a Yana win is a very, very greasy, tight fight. So yeah, I mean, I think Macy minus 200, fine pre. You might get a decent live entry if Yana holds up okay in the first round. But yeah, I lean Macy. I think she should take care of business. And the sub's pretty decent.
Santos gets the job done. Santos looks helpless on the ground against Tate. Yeah, I think it'll be that way. 3.3. I would have said less than that. 2.8.
I mean, she looks helpless on the ground against everybody. Like, when has she looked good on her back? In her entire career.
Oh, so she's no longer at Fortis either, I guess. Macy.
That's interesting. I wonder what happened over there because Ramiz left too.
Yeah, Ramiz talks shit about.
Yeah, he was talking crazy about Safe in the crowd.
Yeah, and I saw someone in the BTL chat. He mentioned about she's with. I think I saw that.
Kriminov. I can't even. I'm not even gonna bother with that. All right.
Yeah, someone
Macy is Ranger MMA.
Yeah, Ranger MMA. I saw Khalid mention that in the chat.
7 weeks old. Okay. Yeah, dude. Our Discord guys, join the Discord. Our Discord's always on top of everything. They have all the goods, all the good detail, bro. Doesn't even let his fighters think the kids. He just yells. Yeah, bro.
He's yelling a lot.
He does yell a lot. All right. Next fight is going to be a movie. Willie Cat Santos versus Ju Sang Yu. Odds in these two gentlemen, you can get Ju Sang Yu plus 121, Daniel Santos minus 141. I'll go first here. I'm probably the one most passionate about it. I think that Willie Cat Santos is the side here. Reason is, strength of schedule wise is going to be him. All you got to do is go back if you're a tape study guy, and go back to Ronaldo Exon fight and watch Ju Sang Yu. Doesn't move his head well. He gets hit. His grappling is like mediocre at best, and he can get taken down. And if you go back and watch Willie Santos' last fight against the Korean Tiger, who I think is a stronger and probably better striker than you at this point, process-wise, Willie Cat Santos wrestled him for 15 minutes. So Willie Cat can wrestle if he wants. He can outstrike if he wants. The one thing I will say, Yu does give those optics of an elite striker. People are going to compare it to probably Conor McGregor this week and shit like that, where his hands are low and he just snipes people, because he does. He's got great power. You look at a lot of his wins. They're KOs all across the board. They're against low-level competition. Guy, I mean, anyone can knock out. My girlfriend can knock out Guy. So I don't think he's anything impressive there. I just think that Willie Cat can be hit as well. He could get caught here, but if he doesn't, I think the longer this fight goes, the more it favors Santos, and I think he drags him deep and forms a swamp late in the fight. Maybe a late finish for Santos or a decision. Key, what are you thinking?
Yeah, this is interesting. I think that this is a fight that I'm not very confident of. because I can see a bunch of different outcomes here. I can see you potentially being better than what I think he is and being able to put together a decent 15 minutes. And it's not that I think that he's a gas or anything. We haven't seen him against any decent sort of comp. And I'm not sure what he looks like whatever people continue to press for 15 minutes. And that's what Santos is going to do. He's going to force a firefight. He enters the pocket. I honestly was impressed more than I thought I would be. But the problem is he can be hurt. He is just chin up. I mean, he's letting it go in exchanges, no regard for defense at times. And I think that you can catch him early. I would see in round 1, round 2, I could easily see you just catching him with something nasty. I think that you is good. I think his timing and his speed is solid, and are his top 2 traits to me, but I'm just not sure what it looks like over 15 minutes versus opponent at this level. So for me, it's a pass on you at these type of numbers. But again, Santos isn't a guy that I'm necessarily like loving to jump to at minus 150, minus 140 range. Whenever he just sort of fights like an idiot at times. And I would like to see him. Get better positionally on top. I think that he can leave some holes for guys to get up. And if you is who they say he is, based off all the training, he's at Syndicate. Well, again, looks from Cody Steele. We know he comes from TKZ camp. I think that he could look solid and be able to get back up and find his shots. But again, this is sort of a weird fight, a really good fight that I'm interested to watch as a fan, but not one that I'm running to get down money on.
John, what are you thinking, man?
Yeah, I bet Willie Cat for a fair amount. I feel like,
fuck yeah.
I mean, this is kind of a hottish take, and let me preface it by saying I don't think he'll ever get to like the title picture per se, but just because I think he's too vulnerable on the feet. But his game kind of resembles Merab's in some respects. I mean, just in terms of the pace. I mean, last fight he attempted 200 distance strikes and 18 takedowns and got 6. And I mean, that's generally how he wins fights. He just goes forward and overwhelms with pace. And now he's starting to mix takedowns in a lot. He's a pretty good grappler. I agree with Key. He's not the best positionally on top, but he'll just keep going for it. And I mean, I actually honestly thought Lee in his last fight is a bit more talented than you is. He's maybe not as sharp on the feet and not as good a counter striker, but he's got more power, more physicality. And even he kind of broke under the pace that, Santos put on him. So yeah, like I think you looks like a decent striker to me. He's got nice long straight punches, good counters, good power. And I think he could knock Santos out in the first round here. I just feel like if he doesn't do that, it's going to be really hard for him to win minutes, though, because Santos is going to compete with him on volume. You saw him do it with Lee. He's going to throw back. It's not like he's just going to let him fire for free like a lot of these jobbers Lee was fighting on the regional scene. And he's going to push takedowns. And everything I've seen from Lee's defensive wrestling on tape looks pretty suspect to me. He might be able to work up, but I ultimately just think the sheer pace Santos pushes is just going to be too much for like most fighters in this division, frankly, outside of like the top 10. I think he'll run into some troubles, like I said, in the top 10 from physicality and vulnerability issues. He probably won't get there, but mid-tier and lower, he should really just, run over these guys via cardio, via grappling attempts, via like just accumulation of strikes. So to me, it's like you could win the fight via KO in the first round. It's really hard for me to put that like really too high a percentage. And maybe he could win it off having a couple big moments in 2 rounds. That could happen too. 6-Hound saying, any concerns about Santos looking fat? Dude, he looked fat last fight, and look at the pace he pushed. I'm not really worried about it at all.
I like the fat.
I mean, I don't like it. I don't like it.
I don't mind it at all.
It was also short notice, John, though. It was short notice for Santos. The last fight. I assume his shape might be a little bit better coming into this one.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, though. I'm gonna bet on these kind of guys with this kind of work rate. They're typically undervalued, especially like early on in their UFC careers. I'm pretty happy to fade the UKO here. So I think Santos should be in like the minus 180, minus 185 range personally.
Yeah, I don't mind. I'd rather look dangerous than look ripped. Fat's fine with me. I'm cool with it. Looked great last time. Gives him more energy. If that's better for him, I'll take it all any day of the week. Everyone went for this one, right?
No, I did not.
Oh, Josh. Go ahead. Tell people what you have to say.
Yeah, it's a tricky fight. I know a lot of people passionate on both sides of this matchup. I'm not, but I can make an argument a side or another. I think moneyline standpoint, I think it's Santos, just because I do think he's going to throw more volume. I think he's going to land the takedowns. I think he's going to win potentially the minute in the grappling. And I think that he has more, like he can win by KO, sub, or decision. All right. So, and I don't think he's going to submit Santos. I do think that he can hurt him definitely. And I think that he can also knock him out. We've seen Santos hurt multiple times, and even the Lee fight you guys mentioned, he got hurt twice in round 1. I know Lee, he's not a bad fighter, but he's also not really smart, and I don't think his timing and his speed is the same as you. Footwork is better, and the way he timed that right hand, you really know what he's doing. And also, like, switching camp, going train with other people, trying to, improve his game, it showed me that the guy, I think he has a high ceiling in general, but also he's doing the right thing to improve, like training with Cody Steele at Syndicate and going to the UFC PI, cross-training with the TKZ, Korean Zombie camp. It's always going to help. And yeah, matchup-wise, I mean, he's the better striker. They're both really hittable. That's kind of the thing, though. Like, you get hit in the pocket, and Santos in the pocket is really dangerous, but at distance, you're going to land down the middle, and he can put him down. But as the fight goes on, Santos' pressure can maybe break him. And maybe, if you look at some crazy props, there's a lot of them on this fight, like the sub 2-3 angle for Santos, the KO1 for you. Like, there's a lot of angle that you can make and make sense. But I think Santos going to win, but I think you could be the goods. So I'm not ready to bet against him at minus money because, he's the true featherweight here. He's the better striker, the guy with more power. And what I was about to say, I forgot. But I do think that Santos is going to be able to then take down here. Like, I've seen you grapple in the regional against, lower level competition. And because of that, I cannot bet him. And it's a step up in competition for him here. So that's like a true test. I'll say his knockout over Jeka was pretty slick. And to your point, Peg, I mean, Jeka is not the best fighter, but he's normally very dangerous on the feet in round 1. That's kind of his game. So normally he get finished on the ground. But, like, he got put out cold with a counter when he was rushing in. And Santos is going to be rushing in, and he's there to be hit. So I could see you landing something clean early and putting him down. But Santos is a dog, so he's not going to be easy to finish. It's a banger, bro. I'm excited for this fight. I'm not sure who's going to win. I lean Santos. I think John played pick him, and you did as well. So, I mean, I understand that with the grappling upside and everything. But I wouldn't play, like, minus 150 or anything like that. But I do think he should be a slight favorite in this fight. It's just a good fight that I want to take notes of you in general to see how good he is.
No, I think he will have upside as he gets better. 110% he will. I just think right now this is just too much too soon for him. It's happening Fight Talk. He's the guy who does all our graphics. Shout out. This is about the 4-inch reach advantage. Not too worried about it because he's going to be flat back the whole time. Bad matchup for Willie, bigger cage, and then gets dropped a lot. Definitely a possibility. We went over this one. You is more stiff robotics, either wrestling or striking. Willie Cat is amazing. Mix it all together. Yeah, I tend to agree. John mentioned that as well. I don't know if he gave him a nickname. I got no idea. Pick 'em fight. That's fair. All right. Next fight here we have is Farid Basharat versus Chris Guetierez. Looking at this one, Farid Basharat is, I think, one of the biggest favorites on the card, second biggest. He's minus 450. Chris Guetierez is plus 350. John, I'm going to have you go first, man. I mean, this Basharat's the better Basharat, brother. Chris Gutierrez is taken down. I feel like there's a clear path for Farid to just wrestle and win, right?
Yeah, I think this is pretty easy for Reed, to be honest. I think the line's fine. I have been considering parlaying him up with Vanderford. The issue for me is, like, aside from the obvious gigantic grappling edge here that we know Farid's going to go for, Chris has, like, no power in his hands. He really doesn't. His only KO in recent years, other than by leg kick, was a spinning back elbow that he landed on Danab. But, he can't back guys up. He has no way to stop like pressure. And, Farid's hands and footwork are good enough. He should be able to close distance here. Taylor Lapilus was, he didn't have the kicking tools that Gutierrez has, but was a much, much tougher ask, in my opinion, because he's got great takedown defense, great get-ups. really fast hands and incredible movement, and he was able to close him down and take him down pretty easily. The biggest difference, two big differences between Guetierez and Lapalus. Guetierez kicks way better. His boxing's way worse. Oh, and he's got horrendous takedown defense and is horrendous on bottom. There's no reason to think Basharat's going to accept getting kicked here. And there's also no reason to think he can't get takedowns and he won't get takedowns. I think he gets pretty easy takedowns, pretty easy control. Wouldn't be surprised if he finds a sub here. Farid's probably a top 6 to 8 guy in the division. Chris Guetierez is a specialist who needs you to kind of accept his game to win. So I think it's Farid all day.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you as well. I'm on Farid. I parlayed him with Jack Jenkins from last week. So we're kind of just waiting on this leg here to cash the ticket. Yeah, I think Farid's the truth. Like you said, top 6 sounds good to me. Like, I mean, he's kind of got everything put together here, and I haven't seen a real flaw with him yet. That's the thing. And I think he's only getting better, being that he's only, a young guy. His brother, I mean, he's watching his brother kind of get knocked out. That's the whole other thing. But he's the better of the two. He'll be fine moving forward. I'm glad he's getting the price tag that he is. He deserves it. What do you think, Key?
Yeah, I think Farid gets it done here. Guetierez is, like John mentioned, spinning back fist, knee to Frankie Edgar. Like, he relies on bullshit to find finishes. It's not like he's going to sit down on combinations and actually, like, box you to death. And I think that he just doesn't have the tools to beat a guy like Basharat. I think Bash will be able to easily get on top here. And as John mentioned, Taylor Lapalus was a much, much tougher ask, in my opinion, than Chris Guetierez. So I think Farid will have no hard time tracking him down. And he'll be able to ride him on the clinch. Pause. He'll be able to get him up on the clinch and get him down. So, yeah, I think Farid will justify this price tag.
All right. Drav, how about you?
Yeah, even Damon Blackshear was also a harder matchup, honestly. Like, Farid's top 15 ready, and he's only getting better at 28, and Chris is 34 and probably not getting any better right now. And what I've noticed with him is he's a confidence fighter, right? And when he's not winning the fight or when he's on the ground, he start to, being discouraged really easily. The Song Yadong fight's a good example of that, and there's a lot of them. Like, he's just not good on the ground, and sometimes he's trying to play BJJ. He's kind of, doing a lot of things that are not likely to make him win or improve his position. And Farid is really good on top, and he's going to chain a lot of takedowns. He has really good cardio. He's durable in the striking, and he has a good jab. I like him, man. I really do. So I do think that he's going to land takedowns pretty easily here, and one takedown is the round. So he probably only needs 2 takedowns to win this fight. And it's not like he could not win a fight in the striking. I think Chris is better with the leg kicks, but if he close the distance and go with the boxing range, I think he can have a lot of success with his jab and his body work. So yeah, and also like Chris is gonna get taken down, and then he's probably gonna be a little bit more hesitant to throw his kicks. So yeah, I do think it's Farid all day here. I think him being a big favorite makes sense. I do think it's a decision though. Chris is tough, to his credit, but I wouldn't be surprised if Farid go out there and make a statement and finish him.
All right. Yeah, that's pretty much everything here. The cash paychecks, but they fight Farid, Basharat, Rats. This is a rock science label minus 400. Yeah, it's fine. Paul, thanks for joining us, brother. Chris is a black belt, weaseling. Yeah. Go ahead, go check out those feet. He's got hobbit feet. I wouldn't be too interested. Dixon. Farid is whatever he wants. Basharat sub. Don't hate the angle, but I mean, Chris is kind of okay defending that.
Yeah, he's gonna be happy to not get finished and lose. That's the way I see it. Like that's his style. He's gonna prefer lose off his back rather than trying to get back up and give up his, giving the risk to get submitted or anything like that. He's willing to lose a decision, and he's gonna be happy with that. And I hate that when fighters do this.
Yeah,
at least give yourself a chance to win. I don't know.
Like Neil Magny, the Magnyverse, always has a chance to win.
Crazy fight, bro.
All right.
If I had money on Jake, I would have been so pissed watching.
Yo, spread of the week that you bailed on me. Hey,
yeah, that's
Neil Magny. What can I say?
I mean, imagine if you bet the money line like plus 400, though.
I did.
Dog always goes, dude, why don't you just bet the money line on all these spreads of the weeks? They end up winning anyway. I'm like, yeah, bro, I don't know. It's all for the bit. Emmett Shabazyan, Golden Boy versus Andre Muniz, 24-7, 15-5. Let's see, Shabazyan is minus 310. Andre Muniz plus 260. Dravhy, we're back up to you. I mean, this is unders 1.5 seems fair to me. Edmund's a much better striker. Muniz is a much better jiu-jitsu player. Doesn't have the wrestling to get it there, especially early. Pretty straightforward to me. How does Edmund win? A decision or early?
No, I think he's going to fuck him up, honestly. I don't think it's going to be competitive. I think he's going to knock him out pretty easily. Like, Muniz can take a punch. He has a bad chin, bad defense, no striking. He's 35 years old, coming back after a bad knockout loss. So, yeah, I mean, Edmund is super dangerous early. He has a big power, but also an underrated part about his game is his takedown defense is really good when he's fresh. And Muniz doesn't have good cardio. So I don't think Muniz is going to be able to take him down early on. He's big and like his grappling is good. But to me, he needs like a armbar or something and Edmund to follow him to the ground and shit the bed like maybe he did against GM3 or something like that. But I mean, that's very unlikely to me. And Edmund, he can gas, but if he gas, Muniz is going to gas as well. And I think Muniz is also a run one type of guy. And I just, he needs to fight someone that is not dangerous and that he can take down or submit. And I don't think that's the case here. I think it's a terrible matchup for him. I think Edmund probably smash him in round 1. And if he doesn't finish him in round 1, I think he's going to do more damage in round 2 and 3 and maybe finish later on. I don't know. But yeah, maybe he wins the decision, but it's more so the under 1.5 is like that because of the Petrosky fight, right? He took his time. He didn't want to gas. He hurt him 2 times. He didn't finish him. And remember, he almost finished GM3 trying to go for the kill and he ended up getting finished. So I think after that, he was like, yeah, let me just play cool, win a decision, prove to myself I can go 15 minutes. And yeah, maybe he doesn't finish him, but I think he will at a high clip. He's going to hurt him. Like, again, it's kind of similar to the GM3 fight in some scenario. The difference is GM3 is a dog and he have good cardio and he's going to finish you late. That's just not Andre Muniz, man. Andre Muniz needs to have success. He needs to take you down. And if you can hit him hard, he's not going to like that. I don't think he's going to be able to take Shabazyan punches. And Shabazyan's only 27. It's kind of crazy. Muniz at the end of his career at 35. I think that he get knocked out. I like real KO here.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I already have Edmund in a parlay. I've been debating playing the under 1.5 when that line dropped. It kind of said it's free. I think they had him letting Petrosky live is kind of affecting that line. Normally, Edmund round 1 is a pretty good bet. Lost that against Petrosky, but yeah, I'm probably going to be on the under 1.5 here as well on straight. And then I have Edmund in a parlay with, I think, Joe Pyfer. So yeah, that's how I'm playing. It seems pretty straightforward for me, honestly. Until it gets late in the fight, could turn into a mess for him, but I doubt it gets there. What are you thinking, John?
I mean, guys, it's Edmund Shabazyan. Like, I feel like this is. I feel we're kind of. I feel everybody I've seen talk about this fight this week is jumping the shark a bit because he beat Andre Petrosky. I agree. He should knock out Andre Muniz. It's probably, if you were to show like a distribution of outcomes, the most likely of all the possible outcomes is him scoring an early knockout here. But I mean, he's really inconsistent. I mean, and as is Andre Muniz. We've seen Andre Muniz absolutely tear through some pretty physical fighters early in fights. We saw Andre Muniz from the Park fight land 11 takedowns, over the course of that fight in 15 minutes. We have seen Edmund on the ground. He is urgent to get up, but he does give up positions, and he hasn't really fought a jiu-jitsu player like Muniz on top of him. And then, like, even talking about what Dravhy mentioned, like, if Edmund drops him and get on top, are you really confident that Edmund's not going to get armbarred here or get submitted from guard? Because I'm really not confident in that, to be honest with you. I look at it and I feel like Edmund's got a lot of scope to win this fight by knockout early. I do think the market is underrating the fact that Muniz has a really good blast double, and the dude is strong as an ox and pretty clearly on some kind of, Brazilian medicine or vitamins, whatever you want to call it. I would not be shocked to see him get takedowns. I wouldn't be shocked to see him get to a body triangle and submit. I do favor Edmund. I think he's got a bit more finishing equity. I think he has less quit in him than Muniz has. But I don't know. This is like the one underdog I'm kind of tempted by a little bit because I do feel like there are iterations of this fight where it's like Edmund gets taken down a minute in and it's like, oh my God, he's got Muniz on a body triangle on his back and you know he's going to be gassed going into round 2. You know what I mean? There's just like so much downside at the price for Shabazyan versus Muniz where it's like Muniz, if he gets 4 or 5 takedowns here, he's going to win the fight. If he gets a takedown in the first 2 minutes, he's probably going to win round 1. This isn't Fluffy Hernandez who's going to, you know, just kind of wrestle ride you and look to mat return and whatnot. Muniz actually can consolidate, you know, back control in a fight like this. So, yeah, I favor Edmund. I understand him being in like the minus 185, minus 200 range. Maybe even if you wanted to go as high as 70%, just because you think the KO early is that likely. I think past minus 300 is a little insane to me. So yeah, I lean Muniz. I haven't decided if I'll bet it. I really don't like having money on Andre Muniz or Andre Muniz fights because the dude is just so inconsistent and he is kind of a quitter. But I see the scope for him pulling an upset here, to be honest.
Oh man. All right, Key, what do you think?
Yeah, I think Edmund should get it done. But as John mentioned, there's in my opinion,
a world in a way.
What'd you say?
I said there's a world in a way. Like if it goes to the mat.
Yeah, I think that like it's not like we haven't seen this movie before of Edmund winning in a spot like that. Like it's not like he's pulled dumb bullshit before multiple times too. So I don't think like a Petrosky and I believe Bud could win is going to like bring him back into like, oh, he's the Edmund that we all thought he was at first. Like, so I don't think he can be trusted in parlays at these types of numbers. It's dog or pass from a money line perspective. But I think Edmund, as usual, if covers price tag is round 1 KO.
All right. So they don't have, probably a robbery chin, you had a ton of takedowns. Park has no takedown defense. Did Iron Turtle win?
And I mean the Iron Turtle fight, yeah, it's a good look, but Park is not dangerous and he's not strong. Like that's kind of my thing. It's like Edmund is so much stronger early and he's so much more dangerous. I just think that you need to be able to take Edmund shots early. And I don't think Muniz can. Like his chin is not good.
Yeah, he was bad against Nick Rom. I do agree with that.
I mean, but I'd make the argument to kind of what you and Key are both saying, Dravhy. Like the under is probably better than like an Edmund money line shot. You know, like under 1.5 minus 130. Like that's, you know, if it is target practice early at range, then you know that kind of covers a lot of outcomes. You know.
Yeah, the under is not a bad look because also Muniz, if you get on top early, like you said, like he could armbar him or something like that. That could also happen. It's just I personally don't think he's gonna get him down early. That's why like he could, but I don't know, man. I've seen Edmund take down defense early in fights, and it's Fluffy pace and wrestling broke him, but Fluffy was getting beat up early on in that fight, so even Imavov, like
Fluffy lost round 1.
Yeah, I know, but like even Imavov and Fluffy, they needed a lot of submission attempt to get him. Like he's not easy to submit. GM3 got him, but like GM2 did the GM3 thing to him. And I'm confident that Muniz, if you get her like GM3 did, he's not gonna survive. I don't see that at all. If you get her one time, the fight is over.
Ron, put your hand near a snap turtle's mouth and see the turtle bites. All right, turtles aren't dangerous.
Okay, you got me there.
I don't know. I think the under's fine. I mean, I messaged earlier.
I don't hate the under as well. It's minus 130. And it's only because of the Petrosky fight. If he didn't have the Petrosky fight, it would be like minus 200.
I agree. I totally agree. So, all right, next fight we'll take a look at is the Atiba Gautier fight, but they don't have his opponent up yet. They still have the Aussie and the
it's on Topology. He's fighting
Tristan Vines. Yeah,
it's on Topology.
I'm looking at the Topology.
Bro, it's right there on your right. Look at the.
Oh yeah, okay, here it is. Got it. I haven't updated it since that fight got my Topology since that fight got made. Atiba Gautier, Tristan Vines. I mean, line's probably going to be minus $1 million if I were to guess.
It's going to be minus 2,000, honestly.
Yeah, if you get minus 1,000, we'll call that value. If anyone who went back and watched Tristan Vines fights of him getting knocked out on the regionals, he gets planked by much lesser men, and he's
Forrest knocking him out. Like Forrest is good for regional, but yeah, I mean, Gautier is a fucking like machine, bro. Like his striking.
The next Nagano, yo.
Yeah,
He
he's.
was
I
fucking-
remember betting this dude at plus money on Dana at Contender Series. Time fly. He's legit. He's
Yeah.
really legit. I think he's gonna smoke him. You know,
All right,
and
so the
they're
consensus.
trying to set him up. Like they put him the headline prelims. This,
Yeah,
you know,
so
they
the
know what they're
consensus-
doing over here. Just
We
before the
all
pay per view, they want to watch him kill a man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
his
mean, it's
powers
crazy
are-
that Funny even took that fight. I would be like, fuck no, I'm not fighting that guy.
Yeah, I mean, he gets to the UFC with it. Like he's probably never go to the UFC if he doesn't accept this. So he's probably like, let me see and find out. Let me get knocked out, and then I'll move to the next one.
Low key, you'll see this on FanDuel. Less like in seconds, like first minute, first 30 seconds, stuff like that. Honestly, depending on the line, probably not a bad idea. Probably could smoke them in a minute. All right, guys, moving on to the main card. Guys, please like, comment, and subscribe. We do this every week for free. We bring on bets or we bring on guests. We give you our best bets, our breakdowns, everything like that. Make everybody money. All we ask is a like, comment, and subscribe. Link for everybody here, including John, will be down below in the bio. All right, next fight. The first to open up the main card, we have Pyfer versus Abu Magomedov. Abu Magomedov is plus 215. Joe Pyfer is minus 255. Key, will have you go first here. I mean, is this a Joe Pyfer by KO spot, or does Abu kind of gas him out and then figure out a way to win here?
Nah, I think this is a Pyfer spot. As much as people want to hate him, I do think that Pyfer gets it done here. I had a boost at, I believe, like minus 110 or something against Bruno Pereira, and damn near shit myself when he almost died in round 2 out of nowhere. And he did show some, like, he was able to finally compose himself a little bit, but his body language is still awful. Like, and people are trying to make it seem like Pyfer's cardio is like terrible and goes off of a cliff. And yeah, Pyfer's cardio isn't great, but Pyfer at least still seems like he wants to be in there and fight. A boost looks like he's ready to get out of there if you're willing to get him out of there. He's just fought lesser men. The ghost of Michel Pereira we're seeing and figuring out now. He fought the ghost of Michel Pereira, and then Bruno Pereira is just simply not physically equipped to beat a boost. I mean, he's just skill for skill is not better than him. Outside of Mean Bonk, there was nothing that he was going to be able to do there, in my opinion. And then Warley Alvet, so these are 3 wins like that are just absolute bullshit. And now where people are making dog arguments for a boost. I don't see it. I think that the guy has amazing traits, great frame, like all the physical capabilities are there. But for whatever reason, this guy just does not seem to be a real fighter, if that makes sense. It doesn't seem like he loves to be in there and fight whenever things get ugly. And Pyfer, I can say, like, it wasn't like he tucked his tail and quit against Joe Pyfer. We've seen a boost flat out just quit. So I think that Pyfer has upside to knock him out in all rounds here. I expect Pyfer to look better than he did against Gaston. I imagine that you have to learn after headhunting for 15 minutes that it's time to mix it up a little bit, shoot some straight ones to the body. I know that he's working with Dean Thomas now, so I have to imagine we've seen Sean Brady's game just continue to grow. Working with Dean Thomas, I have to imagine that Joe Pyfer will show some improvements too. I think that Pyfer gets it done. He's not a guy that I love parlaying because he is sound like he's on. That's funny as fuck. But I because again, it's not like his cardio is the greatest, but I do think that he has the cardio advantage in this matchup. And I think that a boost outside, I think he could potentially look to wrestle here, but I think that just drains his gas tank even more. But I can see these guys kind of having a little bit of a staring match somewhat early on, showing each other some respect because they both are dangerous. But then as the fight weighs on, I think that Pyfer will have opportunities to look good.
Dravhy, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I also think Pyfer is gonna win. I could see the fight being close, especially if they go the distance. Like their cardio in round 3 are both not really good. But Pyfer, to me, like he said, the size is a good point because Pyfer is massive for 185. So is Abu's, but Abu's fought smaller guys recently. So I do think we can see the same thing with Pyfer for Gastelum, though. But, you know, he hurt him bad early. In round 1, when he fought Gastelum, I was like, yeah, all right, his power is so good, man, and everything. And then he managed to have round 2 and 3 being close somehow, which I didn't like too much. But, yeah, we've seen Pyfer. He can grapple. He can strike. He's massive. He has big power. But, yeah, his volume drop as the fight goes on. And Abu's has looked a little bit better as the fight extends than Joe sometimes. But yeah, I think it should be Pyfer here. I do think that he's more durable. I don't like how Habus react when he gets hurt, like he mentioned. Like he's willing to, if you give him the door, he's going to take it in a tough fight. I know he didn't show that against Bruno Ferreira, but he showed that against Sean Strickland. And he also showed that against Brau. Brau didn't finish him, but like the finish was right there for him. And yeah, he got hurt against Bruno Ferreira. And I think Pyfer hit harder than all those guys. So, yeah, I think Pyfer can put his lights out. The KO props like plus 150. What do you guys think about that for Pyfer?
It's pretty good.
Pretty good.
I mean, if he's going to cover, he's probably going to win by knockout. Yeah, I would think.
That's also what I'm thinking. And do you guys think he can like submit him, or that's one I'm not too sure about?
Maybe like I think it would have to be like a front choke off of a boost, like death shooting or some shit like that.
Yeah, because the KO is pretty good. Like it's like the fight doesn't go is minus 220, so like 70%, and Pyfer KO is plus 150. I do think like the most likely finish is a Pyfer KO. It could finish outside of that, but I don't know. What do you think, John?
I mostly think I don't know. It's kind of weird because, like, I guess my big question that I have for Pyfer is how he'll be on bottom. There's not really a lot of data on it. You know, he looked pretty bad there against Hermanson, but also it was the 5th round of a pretty exhausting fight, and I think he was totally gassed out, so I can't really put too much stock into that. My gut instinct is he'll be fine, and he probably won't get taken down, but can probably work up. But again, I don't know that for sure, which is it's a kind of, it introduces enough variance for me to not want to be interested in the price. But having said that, I mean, the power difference is gigantic. I think Pyfer of the two is much more likely to win by KO. I sort of think Abus's best path forward is going to be if he can survive the early minutes and then kind of playing an outside like body kick type game, like a lot of teeps in the last 2 rounds and kind of edge a very close decision. I could see that happening, but I could also see him losing that fight, similar to how Kelvin lost a similar fight to him. So, yeah, I mean, unless Abus can dominate the grappling, I think Pyfer should win. I think he's much more likely to win by KO. I think he's much more likely to win by decision. That's the one thing kind of holding me back from him at the minus 255. But I do think you're just talking about different kinds of athletes and different trajectories in their career. Abus isn't bad, but, you know, to Key's point, struggled. You know, the Pereira fight was ugly. I had a similar reaction of shitting my pants watching the last 2 rounds of that fight. And I mean, every fight he's been in has been ugly. I bet him by decision against Pereira last fight. And that was, you know, somehow he looked horrible, I thought. Pereira just looked even worse than he did. So, yeah, I mean, I think Pyfer should win. I think there could be value on it. I'm just not too tempted.
All right. Yeah, I don't know. I think Pyfer knocks him out. Body cam off Pyfer. Goes the distance. A boost by split. I don't know what that's even priced at. Shout out, Nick. We appreciate it, bro.
It's 30-1.
Yeah.
13-1, my bad.
Be Joe Pyfer. He's going to tell us on media day how we do it. Get into town on a bus.
Yeah, I've watched it.
Pyfer Macy mix. Talk about nasty work.
I would go Pyfer and mix instead of Macy in there.
Yeah. But if you're a gambling man, go ahead, throw Macy.
Hey, you're just showing the comments. You're not even answering. Someone asked us about round 2 and 3 for Pyfer.
What do you think? I like it.
In round 2, sure. In round 3, not really.
No, round 3 is gonna be tied with that. Who gets a hair transplant and shaves their head again?
Yeah, I saw that.
It's crazy. All right, so that's that fight. Next fight we have Yusuf Zalal versus Josh Emmett. 17-5-1 versus 19-5. Odds in these two gentlemen, you get Emmett plus 400, Yusuf Zalal minus 550. I mean, John, we're going to go with you first here. You think
I mean, why?
I
There's a part of me that wants to bet Josh Emmett, but
Me too.
at the same time, it's like the dude is so clearly past it. It's unreal. You know, he's a lot slower. He's having a lot more issues cutting the cage off. His defensive wrestling isn't what it used to be. I think his chin is very likely deteriorating. I think at his age, you have to project even more regression, whereas I think you still project Zalal to potentially still be improving at 29, and he's obviously gotten a lot better. My biggest issue and why I think it could be close is Zalal doesn't really do a lot to separate. You know, it's a lot of work on the outside or him dominating the grappling. I'd be a little surprised if he dominated the grappling. I do think he could get some takedowns, but I do sort of think Emmett can work up here pretty consistently. I think he should be able to outpoint him pretty easily most of the time. The problem is when you have a guy like the Emmett's power, that kind of fight, it might only take two big moments for him to win a decision, or he could win by knockout, or it's a stupid fight like the Cater fight where Emmett lands or doesn't even land, but he throws 3 or 4 big combinations around that look like, you know, they're landing in a fight with close margins, and maybe he gets some nods on the judges' scorecard. Maybe he lands his own takedown, you know, or presses a wall to the fence. I do think there is some scope for Emmett janking a close fight like that. The biggest issue I have is just it's really hard to do business with a guy at Emmett's age who's clearly deteriorating against a guy in Zalal's form who's clearly improving. I'm probably going to end up passing it, but I do. If you told me we're getting the Emmett from 2 years ago in this fight, or the one who fought Topuria, I'd feel pretty good about Emmett in this fight, honestly, about him competing here. I just don't think you can really project that, because I think he's obviously gotten worse, and I think you have to project he's going to continue to get worse in each successive fight. So, yeah, I mean, I'm going to pass. I think there might be some value on Emmett, but I don't really want. There's going to be a time, and maybe this is it, and I'm going to miss it. But there's going to be a time to step in front of the Zalal train, pretty big on an underdog. But I'm not quite sure this is the one.
I tend to agree. It's a big cage. Everything kind of favors Zalal there. I mean, probably pick him apart with leg kicks, stuff like that. I know Emmett's talking about being career best shape with that TJ Dillashaw camp and whatever his name is that Aaron Pico was also at. But I don't know, man. It seems like he's kind of KO or bust at this rate. I'm probably just going to pass. Maybe goes to distance is probably fine with me, but that's minus 250. So I don't know. I'm just going to watch as a fan. What are you thinking, Drav?
Yeah, I mean, to John's point, it's to me, it's impossible to think it's the same guy that fought Topuria, even though he got beat up in that fight. But that fight was more than 2 years ago. He's pushing 41. And in those weight class, 1 or 2 year at this age can be.
That's the big thing.
Yeah, that can be massive. And also, he took a beating in that fight. So that doesn't help, obviously. And he just went 5 rounds and he took damage against Leron Murphy. So, yeah, I mean, he's not I think if anything, he's more likely to get finished now than he was back then. That's kind of the way I see it personally. Yeah, he has good boxing, big power, but I always thought his power is a bit overrated. Not to say that he can, knock out anyone, but when is the last time he got a KO if you don't count the Bryce Mitchell fight? I think it's more than 5 years ago. Let me just check. He got Bryce Mitchell, but outside of that,
Michael Johnson, maybe?
Yeah, it's the same year. He got Mincer Big Tech in 2019.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he caught Bryce Mitchell, but outside of that, it's been 6 years since he got a knockout. So him knocking out Zalal, who has never been finished, who has a very good chin and very good defense, is kind of hard for me to see personally. And the big cage with Zalal footwork and Emmett having a lot of issues tracking him down is just Zalal is going to outpoint him. It's pretty easy for me to see. And I also think that Zalal has a grappling edge. Zalal has been improving a lot recently. You can catch him with a knee up the middle. You can hurt him at maybe with a knee or something. And then if he can take his back, his grappling is good. BDQ is not easy to submit, right? He caught him with a knee and then he took his back and he submitted. So something similar could happen here. I think if anything, Zalal may be a bit more likely to finish Emmett than the other way around, just because he has TKO upside. Emmett's almost 41, took a ton of damage. And he's going to try to, pressure, and maybe he's going to walk into something. And I think that Zalal submitting him will not shock me. So, and also some narrative, but Zalal probably needs a finish to put his name in the, top 5 conversation with all the movement in that division. So if you finish him, maybe you get like a Yair Rodriguez fight or something like that. I don't know, but I do think it's a fight where it's going to be very hard for Emmett to win, because you have a guy with very good defense, with very good footwork, with more tools than you on the feet that can grapple you. And you're going to need to, close the distance and land big shots and trying to, hurt him. People are shitting on Zalal because of the round 3 of Keter fight, but the reality is he beat his ass in the first 2 rounds, and he was willing to run away with it and show good fight IQ in the sense that, like, he didn't take any risk. But yeah, I think Zalal's gonna win this pretty easily, maybe even like 30-27. But yeah, I could see him finishing, honestly. I don't predict that to happen, but it wouldn't shock me. Key, what you thinking?
Yeah, I think that this is a closer fight than lines suggest. I do think that Emmett gets it done. Not Emmett, excuse me. I do think that Zalal gets it done. But I can easily see the round 3 looking similar to the Keter fight, where you have Zalal just running out the time. And so for that reason, I'm not parlaying minus 550 to watch you like weasel 2 rounds and then run away for the last round. So I think that automatically makes it a dog or pass from a money line perspective. If you are a Zalal believer at this level, then I think that you're thinking that he gets a sub, and ends up. Yeah, I think you end up hoping that he finds the back and gets the sub. But even that, I just don't see happening. I think that it's kind of just a stay away fight potentially. I don't think that Emmett's deteriorating as bad as some others may think. He's obviously not like in his prime or anything, but his chin's still solid. He's still able to move in and close the distance. And I actually think that 3 rounds benefits him in a fight like this, because it's less chasing and trying to pace yourself over 25 like he was sort of proposition with doing against Lerone. I also think that Lerone was much better hardware, much better hardware. So I think that Emmett can find a moment-based decision or a knockout. And I think that if you're on the Zalal train, you have to play him by sub. Outside of that, it's a pass fight for me.
All right, so that's pretty much that. What is this? What are they saying? Zalal minus 7.5 plus 165. I mean, yeah, that spread covers it. You gotta have a 30.
But like, let's say he wins the first 2 again. Like, what does he do
run
round
away?
3? Like,
Yeah.
we kind of already know what round 3 will look like in that case.
Do you think he has like bad cardio, or do you just think
Who?
that Zalal?
No, I don't think he has bad cardio.
I think he's too smart for his own good, and he runs from fights, for fights.
Yeah.
When he's off.
I agree with that. Like, I don't think Emmett winning round 3 is like a guaranteed at all. I think round 3 might be 50-50, if anything. But like him winning round 3 is not like. I don't think
the ghost of Calvin Kattar with not much power is able to like make
him scared, and
like Emmett
for 3rd round,
like a fucking goblin right in front of you with a big overhand.
Yeah, and like Kattar wasn't even really landing; he was just throwing a bunch of empty volume and won the round unanimously.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of agree with the Emmett. It's got to be dog or pass here, man. Like, I don't know. Emmett could knock him out. Emmett could knock anyone out. Let's see. Hopefully this fight is a distance. I'm looking forward to it. No, I kind of agree with unders. Unders seem fine. You bet the under, though, you might as well be betting Josh Emmett and then get his finishing equity and his decision equity.
I personally think it go to distance at a high clip.
Well, yeah, it's minus 300 to go to distance, job. That makes sense.
It's minus 220. It's not like I think it go to distance 7-8 time.
Yeah, that Bryce knockout was bad. Emmett KO plus 650, round 3 plus 2,500. I mean, a buzzer beater would be crazy. We talked about the EPO already.
I also think that that's a really good look for Emmett, the Dillashaw working with Dillashaw.
What's happening, Uncle Weezy? I mean, dude, it's a 3-round fight for Emmett. Emmett's gone 5-round fights and still kept his power and everything. Like, I think this is nothing for him.
I don't think cardio is a concern. I think it's going to be a pretty touch and go fight. Zalal's just going to play that jab outside game all the way out.
Yeah, it's just like John mentioned earlier. Like Emmett had every time in his career, he had time tracking people down. So I don't think at 41 is going to change.
Can anyone confirm?
It's probably going to get a lot worse at 41.
I don't think he's banging Macy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think he's banging Macy Barber. I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? All right. Next fight we have is Jiri Prochazka versus Khalil Rountree. Both of Poatan's sons fighting. Khalil Rountree 14-6. Jiri Prochazka 31-5. Jiri is sitting at -172. Khalil Rountree is sitting at +150. Someone on the panel tell me why I shouldn't be betting Khalil Rountree here, because I've watched Jiri on tape get hurt every single fight, and I feel like Khalil Rountree's going to throw the kitchen sink at him early, and if Khalil hurts him, he's probably going to try and kill him. So why am I not taking a dog shot on Khalil here?
So who's Rountree is knocking out?
Bums.
Man, name the guys.
Probably you probably have to go way back. I don't know off the top of my head. Oh, Dawkins.
Anthony Smith.
Yeah, Anthony Smith. That was
Carl Roberson. Modestus Pakauskas.
Like I said,
Go Kodsaki, Paul Craig, Daniel Jolly.
He could hurt him. Like, he's fast and Prochazka is hittable. But I don't know, bro. Like, you're going to have a fucking madman walking you down in round 2 and 3, throwing fucking crazy power. Prochazka's a madman, bro. Like, if you don't put him out, bro, he's going to be in your face, and he's super dangerous. I think round 2 is going to need the space to, throw his kicks, and he's a bit faster early. Maybe you have success in round 1, but as the fight goes on, it's hard for me to not see a scenario where Prochazka just break him. And I don't think round 2 is going to be able to take the shot as the fight goes on. I don't think he's going to handle the pressure well. And even if he has, like, success, let's say Rakic, right? I bet Rakic because I was like, he's cleaner. He's going to have a lot of success with leg kicks. He's going to win minute, but it doesn't even matter. Like, Prochazka's going to take the leg kicks. He's going to keep coming forward, and he's going to break you eventually. That's what he does. He's never been in distance in his UFC career. Like, he's finishing guys. And the only guys that beat him, the only guy that beat him and finish him, it's Poatan. So, yeah, I think Prochazka's going to beat him, honestly. I'm kind of pissed at that fight. I wanted to see Prochazka versus Olberg. It's like a fucking banger that I want to see personally. But, yeah, I do think Prochazka's going to get it done, probably by knockout. What do you think, John, about this one?
Yeah, I actually think I haven't decided if I'll bet it, but I actually think there might be some value on Jiri, to be honest. The thing is, Rountree's not bad, right? He throws good volume. He's got decent power. I do think, to your point earlier, Dravhy, I think his power is overstated, because of his physique, because he's got fast hands. The issue is, first of all, Jiri's biggest weakness is leg kicks, obviously, but Khalil doesn't throw shin to shin, like almost ever. He's not going to go and attack, those legs. He's had other fights like this, like Anthony Smith. He should have butchered his legs and didn't because he was fighting out of orthodox. Hill's southpaw who had no other option but to fight southpaw because he just doesn't have anything from orthodox. So basically Rountree needs to either win minutes on the feet, land more volume. I really have a hard time picturing that. Or knock him out, which he could. He's got the power to knock him out, and Jiri can be hittable. But, like, Jiri's really durable, man. I know he's been hurt a bunch of times, but his recoverability is insane, and he just keeps coming at you. Like, the pace is high, the pressure is high, the cardio is high. Plus, you couple in the fact that he is a pretty elite hitter himself. Like, I don't want to say he's like, a Poatan level hitter, but he's very dangerous. He throws a lot of like moves with like high critical hit percentage, I think is a good way to put it. He's obviously, they fought similar level of competition at this point, but I think Jiri's had more success against higher levels of competition than Khalil has. Obviously Khalil beat Hill, but again, how did Khalil beat Hill? He just threw leg kicks for 5 rounds. That was literally the story of the fight. I do think Khalil can knock him out, like I said, but I feel like Khalil KO is probably like 1-4 maybe here. I just, we watched Jiri overwhelm Dominic Reyes, who, in my opinion, is a much better fighter than Khalil Rountree. And this was Reyes when he was still
prime
at his peak.
Prime.
Yeah, in his peak. Yeah. And he overwhelmed him. And Reyes is longer, faster, more diverse in what he can do. I think it's a similar fight. I don't think Rountree can keep up with the cardio. I think he's more fragile. Yeah, I just lean the Jiri side here. I think at some point I've seen what you've seen, Pegasus, in that he's gotten hurt a lot, but at some point you need to acknowledge this has been going on for so long that the guy's actually got a pretty good chin. You know, some guys just tend to have weird moments in fights, and he seems to be one of them.
Yeah, I get you. I wonder what fight ends by KO is. What would that be? So if fight ends inside the distance is -300.
Do you guys think Prohaska submitting him is like possible / likely?
I mean, he submitted Glover.
And he submitted Glover, but that was like
that gave me fucking AIDS. That was crazy.
You don't think so?
I don't. I think it would have to be like a really like the sloppiest round 3 war, similar to what we saw on Glover, and I don't think that Khalil will last that type of fight.
Yeah. I don't know. Why? Do you think he's going to submit him?
No, I don't. But like he shoot against Poatan. He submit Glover. He got on top of Poatan the first fight. So that's the only like worry, I guess. But like against Rakic and Hill, he had the opportunity to finish with his sub when he got on top, and he just preferred to go for the ground and pound. So that's what he liked to do. So I don't think he submit him, but round 3 ground game is not good. So
yeah, that's fair. Yes, this fight is 3 rounds. Dravhy, club and sub. We salute them. Always talking about Jason Witt's and Shannon Ross's chin. Will Carl head kick him? That's the only way.
Hold on, let me get my full breakdown for this fight. I think that Jiri is. I think Jiri should get it done here. Yuri's never a guy that I love backing at -180, -200 because it's inevitable that he will get hit with something big, most likely. And in that case, I'm not looking to pay upfront chalk whenever I think that your success is kind of backloaded. I think that Rountree here will have opportunity to spark him early. But I think that Rountree is a guy that, I mean, the Poatan we saw him get paced and just the jab and everything was just too much over time. But Jiri is much more aggro down the stretch. The Jamal Hill fight was, I mean, we've seen him in back-to-back times after getting knocked out by Poatan in brutal ways. We see him come back and put on like just classic Jiri performances. They're batshit crazy. So he's still the same guy. It's just Poatan happens to have what's needed to put Jiri away for being so reckless defensively. But I don't think that most of any bit of these guys in the top 5, top 8 are going to be able to handle that type of pressure from Jiri over 15 or 25 minutes in those championship fights. I think that Jiri gets it done here. I think that Khalil can make this competitive because, again, he has fast hands and is precise. And Jiri is going to inevitably tank some punches. But I think the movement down the stretch of Jiri, constantly darting in and out, is just good. You have to deal with so many weapons, elbows, knees, straight shots. I mean, there's just so much to deal with that I think that Khalil is just kind of outgunned here.
All right. It seems to be it's me against the world here. But yeah, I'm gonna stick with my guns. I'm gonna go at Rountree. All right, let's see. I gotta scroll it down now. Jiri more likely to go full retard. Yeah, that's fair. Rountree needs 1 knockdown to pass Liddell and Shogun for most ever in the division. That's interesting. Rountree decision is okay. Jiri when to leave on a college degree. I don't know. Seems interesting. All right, co-main event time. We have Corey Sandhagen versus Merab Dvalishvili. Merab 20-4, Corey Sandhagen 18-5. Odds in these two gentlemen, you can get Sandhagen +300. You get Merab -400. John, we're gonna have you go first. Who do you think wins this fight, Merab or Corey Sandhagen?
Yeah, I think Merab wins. I feel like the lines I mean, I don't think there's any value on Merab at the current price. I'm not sure there's value on Corey. I actually went into tape being pretty passionate that I was going to bet the Corey side in this fight. I've bet Merab almost on his entire run, almost all the way up here, and I'm not going to be betting him here. But I guess for me, what I came away with is like, I think Corey, he's well suited to deal with a lot of what Merab does. The problem is I don't think he can stop Merab from doing what he does. And by that, I mean, I think Corey can scramble up here. I think he can disengage a lot. I don't think he can stop Merab from getting him down. I don't think he can stop Merab from getting off effective offense on the feet. You know, I felt like Sean O'Malley was more equipped to do that. And even he struggled to distance in both of their fights for a lot of the time. I think in the clinch, Corey could have some big success. I do like the knees and elbows he throws. But at the end of the day, I think you need to acknowledge that, you know, Merab's the best minute winner in the history of the sport by like a wide, other than maybe Khabib, you know, but, you know, no one fights at a pace this guy fights at. I mean, obviously, technically, Corey's a better striker than him, no doubt about it. I think of the two, Corey is the more likely to win by KO in this fight. But I mean, ultimately, that's kind of the thing for me. You know, I expect Corey to keep up with him early and have, you know, competitive close rounds in the early going here, because most guys do, or not most guys, but like the top guys have given Merab competitive close rounds early. Can he keep up with him late? I don't really think so. You know, we kind of saw Jan break Corey down. I don't want to say break, but like took over the fight pretty hard on the back end. You know, we saw Corey slow down against Umar towards the end of their fight. And now he's dealing with someone who pushes an infinitely harder pace than either of those guys. So the question is then like, all right, I think Corey could take, you know, the first 1 or 2 rounds. Maybe he could steal one on the back end, but like I have to overwhelmingly favor Merab if it goes to the distance. It's just like, how likely is Corey to finish Merab? And the truth is, I just don't think it's all that likely. You know, Merab, he's been hurt before, but not often. And Corey isn't exactly a guy who, you know, hurts many guys. You know, he hasn't had a knockdown since the Frankie Edgar fight. Like that's so, you know, is he going to sub him? Well, I mean, Umar couldn't out-scramble Merab or couldn't get to dominant positions with him, so I doubt it. Could he knock him out? Yeah, he could land a flying knee, land an elbow. Maybe he cuts him open and gets a stoppage like the Song fight. But I just put Corey finish very, very low, and I put his chances to win a decision not too high either. So, like, to me, he could jank something out for sure. Maybe he could land a flying knee or knock him out, but ultimately, I think Merab in the 75 to 77% range like is fine. I'm not betting it. I think the current line is about right on plus 300 on Corey. If he got to like 350, 400, maybe I'd consider it. But yeah, I'm passing. I think Merab gets it done though.
Yeah. So spread of the week this week, Corey Sandhagen plus 5.5 plus 135 on the line. That's spread of the week. Reason is Corey's going to keep this fight close. I've seen like Corey's just a better striker than Sean O'Malley is. I think he's got a little bit more weaponry. I think his wrestling's better. I think his grappling's better. I think everything's a little bit better. His scrambles are good. I think the reason that we watched like the Jan fight and the Umar fight, those are fights that like were striking pace, and he got hurt in the Jan fight, so that kind of threw him off, which slowed him down because he slowed down his striking. But from here, like he's one of the guys that he can hit Merab with the knee, he'll hit Merab with elbows. He has a good submission game. He can go for leg locks because he trains at Ryan Hall. He can go for any type of submission he wants. Like I just think now is Corey's time. I think he knows this is the only chance he's getting at it. I mean, listen, go back and watch the Sean O'Malley fight. Sean O'Malley had Merab hurt with a body kick. Corey Sandhagen can absolutely do that with knees, with kicks, stuff like that. I think he knows his time now. Money line, I'm also on that for 2 units at plus 330. But no, it's really, for me, spread of the week. I mean, 2 rounds. Corey can definitely win 2 rounds. I mean, Merab isn't going to, I don't think Merab's going to dominate him 50-45. Like I don't see that happening. Corey's never been dominated 50-45 before. I think one judge gave that to him in the Umar fight, but that was just a bullshit ref. I think that was probably a fucked up scorecard, which could happen here. If you want to be extra safe, plus 7.5 for Corey is minus 150 on DraftKings. And I mean, that's free money, but you got to lay a chalk. So yeah, that's my take on it. What do you think, Kate?
It's really, really interesting to like see public sentiment like change over Merab just because he's like showboated a couple times and like had some funny clips. Like it's really interesting. I think that this is another thin margin fight for Merab. The Sean fight, last fight, salute. I'll respect it. You got the finish. But I think that more so has to do with Sean being a little more underwhelming than I thought, than Merab actually just being Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I think that here, the Umar fight, again, he was getting outstruck. Umar ran out of gas. And then Merab
He
just down
broke
the
his hand
stretch.
as well in that fight. Remember,
Yeah, he did
Umar
break his
broke his
hand
hand.
early in that fight. So I think that there's other factors that make that performance look a little better than it actually was. And that wasn't a fight where like, oh, it was easy Merab scorecards. Like it wasn't, those were competitive rounds. And then again in the Sean fight, at 306 on Noche, Sean stole 2 rounds looking bad and hurt him to the body pretty bad in round 5. And against Henry Cejudo, got hurt badly in round 1. So it's not, I think that Merab is like, I get it, his cardio and everything makes him seem like he's just tanking everything, but the guy can and has been hurt before. I think that here Sandhagen is leaning into, it seems like, with Trevor Whitman and what they've spoken of in the game plan. It seems like he's leaning into being offensive in this fight, and I think that that's somewhat of like a tactical error that everybody's kind of made against Merab, is just constantly looking to defend takedowns and be on the defense pretty much the whole fight. And that gives Merab time to eat up clock in the clinch that I don't think that Corey's going to allow here. I think that he has a wealth of tools with kicks, knees, elbows, step-in elbows. And with Merab, sometimes the way that he enters the pocket a little bit recklessly with hands high, there still is that space down the middle, and we could see that exact same sequence that opened up Song Yadong. So I think that Sandhagen here does have the tools to win this fight. And I think that he does, honestly. I'll say it. I have a free bet that'll drop later tonight, but Sandhagen money line, I think at plus 300 is kind of pretty crazy numbers. Like that's insane numbers, if I'm being honest. Merab doesn't cover that price tag outside of finish, and he's not finishing Sandhagen here. Sandhagen's BJJ is solid. I think that he can compete. The thing with Umar was getting the back and was able to control back, and Umar's a great back taker. Merab is not that guy on the back, in my opinion. I think the Corey will be able to get up over and over again. And I think on the feet, I think that he's going to be able to pick apart Merab with his kicks and moving forward. So I think that Corey, I think this is an easy side from a money line perspective. I'm not really sure what people expect Merab to do to justify this price tag. Like, I don't think that this looks like the Umar fight. Umar was fast with his kicks and was actually out kicking Corey, which is probably the only time that's happened in Corey's career. Merab has to enter boxing range. It's not like he's going to get free calf kicks all day long. So I think that he has to enter boxing range. And he has to enter a danger zone. So Corey Sandhagen money line was a pretty easy bet here.
Dravhy, what do you think of Corey's front choke series?
It's decent. I think if you get Merab in that, like Merab is so tough, he's probably not going to tap and fall out of it, honestly. But yeah, I mean, to me here is that there's two things. I think on the like minute standpoint, I think it's like Merab is going to win a little bit more minute, but Corey is going to compete on minute. But do you guys agree that Corey will have the bigger moment in the fight and he's more likely to finish?
A little more likely to finish, yeah.
I think it's definitely.
And I think he's more likely to have big moments or hurt Merab personally in the fight. So if I think it's close on minute, but I lean Merab, but one guy's has more finishing upside, more big moments upside, and more likely to hurt the other, and he's also bigger. I don't know, man. I do think it's a close fight. And to John's point about the finishing, I'm just going to counter that a little bit. Like Corey, 4 out of his last 6 wins are finish. And the 2 guys that he didn't finish are Chito Vera and Rob Gunn.
Cut stoppage and an injury, though, in 2 of those.
But the cut stoppage, he caused it because of his elbow.
Yeah, he caused the cut stoppage, but how predictable is that,
Yeah, but at the same time, who ever finished Song Yadong? Cut or not. Like he has an iron chin. I didn't think he would like finish him, caught or not, but he caused those elbows, and that was part of his game plan. So I don't think like it was like a bad cut or anything because of a weird shit. And he did cause them, and the fight was stopped. But I mean, my point is the two guys that he didn't finish that recently that he fought are two of the most durable guys in the division. And like you said, Merab get hurt. Like he get hurt in a lot of fights, but he's a dog. Like he has elite recovery. So I'm not going to go out there and think Corey's going to finish him, but I do think he could hurt him. And he has those nasty flying knee, and Merab's going to shoot, and he's much smarter. So he could catch him with a flying knee or something. And to me, the biggest thing is if Merab wrestles, and I think he will, obviously, I don't think he's going to hold Corey down. Corey has a really good get-up and good BJJ, so I don't think he's going to submit him or control him easily. So if that's not the case, I think Corey's slightly the better striker. He's, bigger, taller, and can have big moments on the feet. So I do think it's a close fight. I lean Merab to win. I think it's going to be like a 48-47 decision for Merab. That's what I'm thinking. But, Corey +3, I play +320. I think that it's, you got to click because it's a top 5, top 3 skill-wise in the division, the entire world in that division. And you're having one guy. Like John said, you've bet Merab all the way to the top, and he was always an underdog. He was always pick him underdog.
Yeah, he was playable every fight until last fight.
Yeah, and now the market's back up to him, and I mean you have to with what he's done, like that you have to, but I think that's the point where you need to maybe try to go bet against him. And honestly, I've not been the Merab guy like you, bro. I've lost money on him trying to fade him. But I think this fight at this price, it's kind of I think Merab, you can say he's like, it's even hard for me to say 70% here. Honestly, it's hard for me to say so. So I do think he should be a favorite, but I wouldn't even cap him at 70. I would cap him between 60 to 65%. But I'm high on Corey, maybe a little bit more than people are. He's really fucking good, and he seems to be coming into this fight with the right game plan, with good coaches around him, and you know what to do. So if Merab doesn't control him, if Merab doesn't finish him, it's going to be close. Corey can win this fight. So yeah, I think Corey has a lot of value this week. I'm picking Merab to win. It's kind of pussy by me, but I'm just saying I think it would. I think Merab's going to win 48-47, and people are going to be like, oh, how do you bet Corey Sandhagen? You will always lose to Merab and all that, but he's alive for the upset. He really is. And when it's 130. When it's 135 pounds like this, like with eye level fight, man, +3xx, you got to click sometimes. So yeah, I think Corey's live for that upset.
Just play the spread, man. Uncle Weez is in here. He said Merab by decision -200, disgusting, but hits at 75% clip. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I do think if he wins, it's more than likely decision.
Him getting hurt all the time convinced me to bet O'Malley. Thought Umar could match the wrestling and piece him up on the feet. Nope. Let's see. I bet I'm on Corey my line. How can you guys read front choke? We went over that. What do you guys think about Corey's finishing inside distance boys goes decision? I do have a belief in Corey's durability to at least not get finished. Yeah, Corey's not getting finished here. Yeah, I like Sandman's here. Guys, just drop a like. Drop a subscription, subscribe, everything like that. We'd appreciate it. And we are on to spread is terrible compared to moneyline. +135, +140 isn't terrible. Where are you getting -135? It's plus odds. It's +135 on BetOnline. It's +105 on DraftKings, or it was yesterday. I haven't checked it today. But let's move on. Main event time. Let's see right here. All right, we got Alex Pereira, Poatan versus Magomed Ankalaev. This is obviously a rematch fight. Now we got Magomed as a champ, Pereira as the contender. Pereira's +222 and Magomed's -262. So the lines are totally crooked from the first rematch. Who wants to go first on this one? Key, I'm going to have you go first here, actually. Yeah, so best 100, +100 is fine. But yeah, I mean, listen, I think Magomed finishes Alex Pereira this time. What do you think, Key?
Yeah. I kind of feel indifferent about this fight. I felt really strong about Magomed, and I backed him the first time out. And I think that it was a fine performance. Honestly, I was expecting him to look better in a different way. I thought that he would be able to get on top. It was kind of a little concerned to go 0 for 12. But he did control the fight. I thought that he did a good job and then punished Pereira whenever Pereira did want to open up. So I think that we could see Pereira get KO'd if he decides to let his nuts hang. In the first fight, it kind of just felt like he was flat. Like he was just flat. And I know that there's been talks about all the traveling he did and then apparently injuries in that first fight. And it is what it is. But in my opinion, he got out skilled and out techniqued. Like I think that was out game planned. But I do think that this number is wide because again, as much as it's weird because at one time we're talking about this guy goes on one of the coolest runs of all time from the end of 2023 to 2024 and is being regarded as, oh, can he go up to heavyweight and win and all this shit. And then loses a somewhat close decision and now is like being treated like he's shit and never was anything. So it's funny how MMA fans, how we just think of these fighters over time. Because I don't think that this line is like correct, honestly. And I do think that Ankh wins, but minus 262 is crazy against the hardest hitting guy we've seen in this weight class. And I mean, he's by far the most dangerous guy Ankh is going to see on his title run. So I think that this is why this Poatan or pass, and as nasty as that feels to say, I just think that these numbers are, again, a little disrespectful for a guy that we know is dangerous and can spark anyone at any moment. And I get it. I do think that Ankh is a better fighter, but I would not be parlaying these prices.
Well, what do you think about the under 4.5 being minus 125? Like, I feel like there's a finish this fight that covers Pereira's price tag and Magomedov's price tag. So
I kind of have a hard time like capping the pace of this fight, honestly. I think that is going to be interesting to see. I think that's one of the things that I'm the most unsure about.
What do you think of the under, John? Because that's where I was thinking. I was thinking at Magomedov.
I'm kind of tempted on it. I'll be honest. I feel just because both these guys are more than capable of finishing the other. And what if instead of going 0 for 12 on takedowns, he goes 3 for 12?
Yeah.
I really think if Magomed gets on top of him, he's going to fuck him up. Pardon my French, but that's
here. It's all good.
Yeah. I really just. Honestly, I think the line. I like the under. I do think, Key brought it up. I think Pereira, most of his. I know it was a reasonably close decision in the first fight, but I do feel like most of his win equity is going to run through KO, we've seen Pereira get hurt multiple times. Magomed hurt him. Like I said, what if Magomed, we know he's going to shoot at least a few times. What if this time, I would still personally project Magomed to get 1 to 3 takedowns. I don't think Poatan defending 12 takedowns happens at a particularly consistent rate personally. So yeah, I do lean under in terms of the fight. I think the line's kind of fine. And I'll tell you why. I feel like it was reasonably close, but honestly, watching it back, outside of 2 partially blocked head kicks and a bunch of leg kicks in round 1, Magomed kind of dunked on him for the entire fight. Really, there was not a particularly close fight.
I don't think it was close at all.
No. Additionally, you saw in the last 3 rounds, if Magomed just decides I'm going to staple him to the fence, Poatan, there's nothing he can do about it. He can't get off it at all. He was getting worked in those positions. There's still grappling upside for Magomed here. A lot of it. I still think he can get takedowns. Poatan's 38. I just feel like Poatan got a perfect fight last time. He got about 20 minutes of distance, maybe even a shade over that. He allowed 0 takedowns, and he lost a pretty firm decision. I think he can win by knockout. I think maybe he could jank a kind of decision similar to that last one. But I feel like if someone is going to dominate this fight and look minus 1,000, I still think it's Magomed. I actually think Magomed is maybe a little bit more likely to win by KO just since he's a bit younger. Poatan's a bit older. And obviously he has the ground and pound upside here. I was actually hoping, because the first fight was perceived to be very close, that you'd see a lot of Poatan money and maybe be a minus 150 to 170 spot on it. That's not there though. And I'm kind of with Key. I bet Magomed pick him in the first fight. I can't lay like minus 250 when I had him. I pick him, like that. That's I made my money on the fight. I'm considering the under, but I think Magomed should win. Yeah. If he gets sparked, I won't be shocked though. It could happen. It's Poatan at the end of the day.
That's why you can't pay minus 260s, because there's a chance that he does get sparked, and it's just like it. I'm with you there. I played Magomed the first time. I thought it was 4-1. I mean, you could make it 3-2, I guess, but it would be like a generous 3-2. But either way, it's still Magomed winning. But I think the under seems fine here. Like we said, we saw Magomed hurt Alex in the first fight. We know Alex is coming in healthier. He knows now if I get stapled to the fence or taken down, I'm fucked. So I may as well swing to the fences, because that's how I'm going to beat this guy. Because if I don't, he's going to beat me by decision. So Alex kind of knows that. It makes me think that Alex kind of has to go for it. Magomed, if you watched the majority of the fight last time, spent a lot of his time countering Alex's shots. That's what he made a key to doing. And if that's the case, if he's countering Alex's shots, there's a chance he hurts him too. If we said, Magomed takes to the ground, I mean, submission could be fine. KO could be fine. Like, all that's fine. If it's on the ground, it's Magomed's world. I think it gets real ugly there. But Alex was able to stop those takedowns last fight. So, I don't know. Everything points to an under for me. As a wise man, Dravhy likes to say, no two fights go the same way. And last fight, we saw a decision. So, I don't see why under 4.5 minus 125. I don't see why you can't just take that. I mean, if you really think, I think Magomed wins by inside the distance. I mean, what's the line on that? Is that anything reasonable?
Plus 220.
Plus 220?
Last time I've checked, yeah.
Okay. I don't know if
I mean, I do agree with John. Like, there's a good chance that this time around Ankalaev get a takedown or two, and if he does, he can finish from top position. It's not because he didn't take him down all the time. The time that he tried, like, he knows what takedown will work and which one will not, probably. Like, he might be trying different takedowns that could succeed, and Pereira might be thinking that he can get taken down, and because of that, he might pressure more, he might be more reckless, he might try to fight more, and if he does, that can open takedowns for Ankalaev as well. So, and Pereira was super patient, staying on the outside and doing leg kicks, so I don't think he's gonna do the same here. And yeah, he can knock out anyone on the planet, Poatan. So, I mean, I'm not going to count him out. I think he can knock out anyone. But I do think it's a really hard matchup for him, just because Ankalaev is really durable and he has power, timing, speed, accuracy. So I think Ankalaev is going to get him. He hurt him last time, but remember, it was at the end of round 2 in the belt ring. So if he hurt him, let's say in round 3, for example, and it's in the middle of the round, is Pereira going to survive? I don't really know. And Pereira has been hurt a lot of times in the UFC, right? And he's talking about his weight cut being harder at 205, that he might move up to heavyweight, and also some narrative again, but his head seems to be checked out of the game. Like, he made his money, he made his name, and he's talking about different things. He's doing movies, I don't know, man. It's just something tell me that he's not as locked in as he should be for this fight. Maybe that's not the case. I don't really know, but all of this to say, I think someone's probably going to get finished, and I think Ankalaev's going to finish him this time around. And if Pereira win, and Key did not bet him at plus 220, we're going to have to talk about that in the next podcast. Good guy, Key. So if he wins, you didn't bet him, I'm going to have to call you out next podcast.
It could honestly easily be similar to Merab Sean, where Merab was kind of risk off a bit in the first fight and then just pummeled him in the second one. And kind of knows what works here, just goes to it and just, fucks him up this time. That's kind of what I'm leaning to be honest.
Yeah, and also all the rematches that they had, Ankalaev and Pereira in the UFC, all the rematch, they finish, win or lose. So also, bearish a little bit for that violence.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna this would probably be the last bet I put on my slate. My slate's almost done. If you check the Discord, every bet's in there. But this is probably the one that's gonna be me waiting on the most. It's gonna be deciding what I do when I look at my slate, whether I add the under or not. But I think I really like the under here. All right. Comment time. Let's take a look here. I mean, this would be hysterical if that happens and he wins by KO. I mean, I think you got to run a rematch first before you give him Oberg.
If he wins this, I think he's moving to heavyweight.
Yeah, if he
Yeah,
wins
or
this, there is
actually-
no way he rematches on.
I was gonna say I don't. Even if he stays at middleweight, Dana's not gonna give it back again third time.
Yeah, I mean, he's talking. Okay. So I don't think anyone talked about that. The interviews this week of Alex saying that the 205 weight cut sucks for him and he wants to move up to heavyweight. And this is his last fight at 205. I mean, that's never good news to hear.
Bro, I just said it.
You did? All right. I'm sorry. I wasn't listening to you. But yeah.
You hear that? You hear this guy?
But yeah. All right. Give us a cycle parlay, please. We'll do it just because you asked for it and because we have a guest. Now it's time for that. John, thanks for joining us, obviously. Cycle parlay. I mean, there's 4 of us now. I don't know how we go. I'm gonna let you 3 can do it. How about that? I'll give it to you 3. So who wants KO? Who wants decision? Who wants sub?
Peg, we already said that we're not doing cycle parlay on the podcast anymore, and you try to
Well,
bring it every
he
time.
asked for it, so they asked for
What
it.
about that? I just posted a parlay on Twitter.
All right,
On my
what's your
Twitter,
favorite leg from it?
Dravhy _ The parlay is Emmett Shabazyan round 1. All right. Patchy mix inside the distance. And Soriano by decision.
I like Soriano decision.
It's plus 24 to 1.
Okay.
I've put 250 to win 6K on it. If you go on my Twitter and you like the post, comment on it, follow BTL on Twitter, follow myself. I'm going to give out $100 to 3 people in the comments that I've liked my tweet on Twitter. So that's the one that we're getting out. That's not a cycle parlay, but that's going to cash show. Edmund round 1, Patchy mix ITD, Soriano decision, 24 to 1.
So
what about that, Peg?
Let's talk about this. If we all
it's not a BPL parlay, but you know.
Okay, that's a fine parlay. But let me ask you this. Let's ask this for the thing. If you guys had to pick one bet that's going to win, what do you guys like? Like one fighter that's going to win this card. Odds outside the window. Who do you like?
Atiba Gautier money line minus 3,000.
That's fair. Dravhy, what do you like?
Veronica Hardy minus 825.
What was this? Who is this?
Hardy.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. Okay, for real, let me just say this slate. Patchy mix minus 300. It's a good one. It's a
okay. You know. John, who do you like?
Vanderford minus 290 or 300.
Okay. I'm gonna take.
But we're not doing any parlay.
No, I just tricked you into it.
Parlay, bro.
I just tricked you into it. So, yeah, I'm gonna go with Joe Pyfer minus 255. And then Key, you want Macy Chaisson? I feel like you do.
No.
Who do you want then?
I trolled and said Gautier. I'll say Basharat minus 450 money line.
There you go, guys. See, look at that. All it took was a little bit of magic, and Peg tricked them all into doing a parlay. So that's the parlay. We got Patchy Mix, we got Vanderford, we got Joe Pyfer, and then whatever Key just said, I can't even remember. Basharat money line. There you go. So it's a 4-way parlay. Honestly, that probably slaps. So that being said, I'm your host, 6 Pegasus. Thanks for joining us here. John, we appreciate you coming on, man. We'll have you back for sure. It was a fun show, as always.
I had a blast. I'd love to come back.
No, we'll definitely do it again sometime, guys.
People, John, for your podcast and everything. Plug yourself, bro.
Guys, follow me on Twitter at MMA Fox. I chat MMA, do a write-up every Saturday morning. I do a podcast, the Club and Sub podcast, with myself and Danny Lags. We do it on Sunday or Monday nights. It's been more Monday nights these days, usually around 9 p.m. Eastern. So, yeah, just check it out. I'd appreciate it. And thank you, boys. Had a great time.
Sure. We'll drop a link to that below as well. And as always, guys, our first sponsor, go on to overtime.xyz, get your bet in, use the link below. It'll be fun to bet on. It's easy. All right, guys. Talk to you in a week. Let's hope we cash. Peace.